start the session by thanking Sanil Shah for getting such an eminent person on this platform of her take to introduce our respected sir, Ketan Gaikwad sir. He doesn't like it, but it is our job to tell people about their achievements so that others get inspired. ये introduction Ketan जी के लिए नहीं है, for others, because here I see a lot of employees also joining in. Naresh ji join हुआ है. A lot of employees also joining in who want to make a career. Okay, not only business people. So for all of you all, Ketan sir is the managing director and CEO of Receivables Exchange of India. Right, he's been in this industry for 28 years, I believe. Right, so should be slightly senior to me also. Right, he was with Barclays, Standard Chartered Bank, Bank of Baroda. Right, he was heading trade finance in Barclays Bank. He's a science graduate. Again, one more lesson to all of us: you don't need to be a commerce. You don't need to be a commerce graduate to do a finance MBA. There are two examples in front of you, Ketan sir, and I may humbly say Anil Menon also. Right, he has done his MBA from Symbiosis. Oh wow, he has completed executive leadership program from INSEAD, which is one of the best in the world, France. And yes, today sir is going to talk about Receivables Exchange of India. All of you all, please watch. It's a trades platform. On our Telegram group, I had put that. I said, please welcome, right? Because Simar has got very busy. And let's understand one thing. My Simar also runs multi-crore businesses, right? So I will take the responsibility of putting up all the links now. A trades platform mandated by RBI, and it is a joint venture with SIDBI. It can't get bigger than this. And National Stock Exchange, along with, oh, I'm so happy, State Bank of India. Whenever my alma mater comes in, I feel very happy. ICICI Bank and some other shareholders. Sir ने S Bank लिखा है, मैं वो नाम जानबूझ के skip कर रहा हूँ, right, and some other shareholders. S Bank is a part of SBI now. God bless sir. I'm so happy to see you here. Namaskar sir. Over to you.
Thank you.
Right, sir. And please start, sir. All yours. Right.
Thank you, Mr. Menon. Thank you, Simarpreet, and thank you, Sumit, for the wonderful introduction. And first of all, I should also thank Sanil Shah, because I didn't know that this was going to be such an energetic session on Sunday morning, because I thought when he reached out to me through SIDBI, the request came in from SIDBI that one of the SP Jain Institute alumni wants to conduct a session on trades. So I said, okay, connect me, I can do the session. Then I said, okay, fine, any of the days, on any of the working days we can do it. So I told him maybe a Friday or a Thursday we'll do it. But he came back saying, no, sir, my hour, we have holding the sessions with our alumni normally on a weekends. And if it's okay with you, we'll do it on a, if you cannot accommodate on a weekend, can you do it on a, on any of the days which you want? So I said, no, it's fine. See, at the end of the day, it's reaching out to the people, and that's very important for us to reach out to the people and explain and make them understand what trades is all about. So thank you, and thank you for the yesterday's exchange also, because yesterday when I didn't get any mails saying that, I was worried whether this program is really going to happen. Then I came to know that Simar had told us, no, sir, we've got a very good response on this particular program, and so here I am. And thank you, Mr. Menon, for a wonderful introduction. And it's very nice to know that you are also a former banker. So I've been a transaction banker. If you would be aware that what is transaction banking means in banking parlance, banking sector, it means that we handle the cash management and the trade, especially the trade finance of any corporate. So especially you take care of the working capital needs of trade. So I've been a veteran in this particular field for the last 28 years. Let me tell you, I started my, I'm very keen on telling you that, because I started my career as a clerk in Bank of Baroda, and that's how I come across. So I went on, doing my graduation and other things, and along with my studies and all that. And that's how I come. So last degree was from INSEAD alumni. I'm an INSEAD alumni also. So I think I have asked many of the alumni. In fact, I have posted this on my groups in this particular, about this event and a digital fintech platform, which I'm a member of. I have told them, if you want to know what trades is all about, you can join over here. So I think there are some people who have joined. There are some people who have joined from alumni side also. INSEAD, one or two guys have joined. So thank you. Thanks, Sumit, for a wonderful and very energetic introduction. And Simarpreet, very clearly, yesterday I was quite enthused by what you spoke to me about your grandmother, and that still the words keep on ringing. So without any further ado, let me start. Yeah, so it's very interesting to address talk to the people. I would not say address. I talk to the people who are the alumni of SPJIMR, because there will be many. Almost, I mean, I would say that all of you would be very successful in a field, leading corporates or leading your family businesses and leading SMEs, which are on the verge of becoming large corporates. And it's very important that we get this message across. It's a beautiful initiative which is started by RxStyle. It's an initiative which has been initiated by RBI. I would not say RxStyle. It's an initiative which has been initiated by RBI, and it's a government initiative. And I find it's a great opportunity for me to come and help this organization. I come from a MNC background for the last 27, 28 years, 25 years, more than 25 years. I've been working in MNC banks. Standard Chartered Bank, and the last stint was with the Barclays Bank. And it's a great and wonderful opportunity to come and head this organization and do something great. I think this is something which is going to change the way supplier financing happens in India. And actually, when you talk about supplier financing, you're talking about the SMEs, the large corporates, and everyone. So correctly said by Sumit and Mr. Menon and Simranji that look, what is MSME's contribution to India? So these MSMEs form a larger part of the economic indicators for India. MSMEs contribute around there are 6.5 crores SMEs which contribute to 11 crores of jobs, and they contribute to 29% of India's GDP and 45% of total exports, as per the last survey which is done, as per the last records which are there. But the current MSME minister, Mr. Nitin Gadkari, is very clear in his mind, and very clearly is mandated by the Narendra Modi government that these 6.5 crores MSMEs have to increase, and the 11 crore jobs have to increase to, you have to add another 5 crore jobs. So another 16 crores. So you would be having another 5 crores jobs being added over here. So that's a 50% increase. And very clearly the mandate is that the MSME should contribute 50% of India's GDP. And that's what the work is going on towards that. And total exports, I would not say that much, because it continues to be the market indicator. And considering that the demand which is going to come from internally from India, I don't think we'll have that much of dependence on the exports. So we keep on talking about MSMEs. So when MSMEs are such a large contributor to the Indian economy, why is it that we always see that issue? There are always issues of MSMEs not growing, MSMEs are dying, MSMEs are getting closed. So when there was a survey which was carried out in 2019, very clearly by Times of India, these are old figures, these are 2019 figures, November 2019, prior to COVID scenario. And so COVID scenario has actually aggravated the problem. So in 2019, when the survey was carried out, there was an article which was carried out by Times of India, which very clearly talked about that MSMEs are getting choked by their own dues. When you talk about choking, you can lead to death also. The choking can lead to death. So when they did a survey of 119 MSMEs, they found that the customer base of these MSMEs was, they were supplying to 48% of private sector, government and PSUs around 10%. They just did a random survey and they found out that. What they found out, that this out of this 100%, out of the 119 MSMEs which was surveyed, which was even a very small indicative sample, 70% of them very clearly said that they received the payment after 60 days. This is despite the fact that MSMED Act is very clearly states that 40%, your dues have to be received within 45 days. And when they did a study of the recovery cycle, 27% of this MSME said very clearly that they received half the receivables after 90 days. And 31% said that they received third to half again after 90 days. So you can imagine that almost the entire ecosystem very clearly is crying that 70 to 80% of them, they receive the payment after 90 days. And very clearly that MSMEs, when they keep on following up, they have to eventually write off the receivables, because they feel that it's not really worth going across and begging to the corporates or the PSUs for their money and let the business go. It's basically they become smarter by this experience. And this is all because of the patronizing attitude which the corporates and the PSUs and the government has. And very clearly that, the government, when I talk about government is also recognizing the fact that yes, there are delays. There are some Babu system of the culture in the PSUs and the government, which ensure that, the MSMEs do not get the payment, and that problem is vitally acknowledged by the government. And which are the customers which have this basic problem? The customers, when they found out, 42% is 42. 42% comes are the customers from private sector, and 24% from the government sector. These are the troublesome customers which never make the payments on time. They always ensure that they always make the MSMEs beg, follow up, and when after that they get the payment. So when the survey was carried out, if you remember, during Diwali time, there was a large UN cry about overdues and outstanding payments. At that time, it was a publicly known figure that large corporations owed something like 40,000 crores and PSUs owed around 48,000 crores to MSMEs. The payments were not given despite them, becoming eligible for that. These payments are due to them. And if you remember, that time the finance minister also had come on the TV and said very clearly that she is allowing this PSUs to release the payments and to the MSMEs before Diwali, and that's what was said very clearly. So what is the government? The government has taken various steps to ease out this problem, because they know that the MSMEs do not get the payment on time, and then when the MSMEs do not get the payment on time, they have to borrow heavily. And when they have to borrow heavily, there is a possibility that they have to put everything on collateral, their house on collateral, and everything on collateral. So it is a scenario where the MSMEs act as banks to the large corporates, and rightfully say that very clearly. That article also says that they act as banks. And why so is because today when the corporate buys it from the MSMEs, he says that, look, I am doing a favor by buying things from you. That's the attitude. That's a patronizing attitude. And when it comes to the payment, they take their own time to decide when to make the payment. When it comes to the payment to the bank, they will have to make the payment promptly, or they get they can get classified as overdue in their banking system. But when it comes to the MSME payment, they can decide when to make the payment. But if the same MSME were to delay the delivery of the goods by 1 day or 2 days, they'll get heavily penalized by liquidated damages and all that. So keeping all that in mind, this problem has been persistent all throughout, and government is trying to find out ways and means how to solve this problem. So in 2006, MSME Act was enabled, which very clearly said that the government came out of the mandate that the MSME Act very clearly says that the payment has to be made to the MSMEs within 45 days. In 2012, the government came out with a mandate or the legislation which clearly says that when you disclose your annual reports, you must also disclose which are the overdues or what overdues are there for the MSME. So you have to necessarily disclose. So what happens in the corporates window dress? When I say window dress, what happens is during the month of March, you will find that they will ensure that the receivables of the MSMEs are cleared off. They might be pending for so many months together for that particular year, but during that month of March, all this gets cleared, because to ensure that it does not get disclosed in the annual statements. Then there was an MSME Samadhan portal set up as a retrieval mechanism. But honestly, no, I being the insider, or I would say that I know how it works. Honestly, although the portal is allowing that the MSMEs can go and complain against the large corporate, complain against the large PSUs or government, who will have the courage or the guts to go and complain against the large corporate? Because tomorrow, if you're an MSME, would you really stand up against a large corporate who will have a large legal battery of lawyers to defend its position? So that is actually the reality. The ground reality of the world is that MSME, although they keep on saying that look, MSME Samadhan is actually getting some relief. Yeah, it is getting relief to a certain extent. Financial centers have been set up all across India, and MSME ministry is also doing its bit. In fact, MSME ministry in the last 4-5 years has become so active, you would not really believe. MSMEs and MSME ministry, as well as the DFR, Department of Financial Services, very actively, very proactively, they're following up on how TReDS is happening. I'll come to that. So in 2015, RBI came out with the regulation that we will set up something called as TReDS receivable discounting system. So RBI issued the norms on what the TReDS receivable system should be like. In 2019, RBI set up a panel which very clearly stated that this particular panel is in the works. NESL, National Utility Services, one particular company is there, which is again a venture between many banks and National Stock Exchange, where they're setting up a utility where they can spot the payment defaulters. So tomorrow, if you're an MSME, you can register your invoices with this particular portal. And if you do not receive the payment within 15 days, it is construed that you have not made the payment, and this particular portal has the capability of naming and shaming that particular corporate. So that is something which is under the works and is being worked upon. Coming back to TReDS, in 2008, Financial Committee norms came out saying, that trees, basically there was a government committee set up, which very clearly talked about, they went and did a study of a model called as NAFIN in Mexico. And they tried saying that, why can't we have this model in India? And this was recommended among the 100 steps, for financial reforms. So RBI issued guideline in 2014. They came out with called for applications on who will set up. And during that time, SIDBI and NSE applied along with the two other parties. And SIDBI and NSE got an approval in 2015 December. And a company called as Receivables Exchange India Limited was set up by SIDBI and NSE as a joint venture. And final approval came for RXIL, which is this current company, in 2016. So this company has been functional for the last 2-3 years, I would say. This is the 4th year which is running. And RXIL executed the first transaction on TReDS in 2017. And there are 2 other companies also, there are 2 other exchanges also which have got the license from RBI to function and operate a trade exchange. One is the Mind M1 Exchange, which is a company of Mind Solutions based out of Gurgaon. And the second company is called as InvoiceSmart, which is a joint venture of Axis Bank and M Junction. So clearly about RXIL, RXIL is a company which is promoted by SIDBI. SIDBI is the largest development institution, or the only development institution in India, which caters to the MSME. Very clearly a developmental role which has been undertaken by SIDBI. National Stock Exchange, because National Stock Exchange is the leader in its own way. National Stock Exchange came into being, and the clear mandate was that they should set up an electronic exchange. And now today, National Stock Exchange is the largest stock exchange in India. And I think I've heard that they are even on the path to, in many other places, they have become number 1 in the world for derivatives and many other financial services which they give. State Bank of India is, so basically this company RXIL is a promotion or the joint venture between SIDBI and NSE. State Bank of India, ICICI Bank and Yes Bank are the 3 companies which are the holders, shareholders in the particular company. So this is just to tell you that this is the legacy of RXIL. This is the RXIL. So clearly the mandate is that that we have to cater to the MSMEs, and very clearly that this particular platform is a digital platform. I'll come to that. So the RXIL vision is that in the next 1 year, 2 years, we should be catering to at least 100,000 MSMEs all across India. So that's what the thing is, and basically to ensure that we give a digital transparency and ensure transparency in this particular system, to ensure the supply chain transactions happen digitally and smoothly on the platform. So what is TReDS? Basically, TReDS is a digital, it's a trade receivables electronic discounting system, trade receivables discounting system as envisaged by RBI, wherein you can do the financing of the receivables of MSME. So clearly, the RBI has given the mandate that you should be doing the discounting of only MSMEs on this particular platform. And very clearly, this kind of platform is nowhere there across India, across the world. The platform on which it was based, it has a different concept altogether, but the idea came from there, or NAFIN from NAFIN, Mexico. But clearly, this kind of platform is nowhere there, anywhere in the world. And that's why it is unique in its own way. So this platform is basically where you have the large corporates as the buyer, PSUs as the buyer, and the government departments as the buyer. MSMEs are the sellers. So it's a one-to-many, many-to-one kind of a scenario wherein one buyer might be selling into the large number of sellers, or one particular seller might be selling to the large number of buyers on the platform. So it's an e-discounting platform which is there, and on this platform we also have the financiers. So all the banks, priority sector, public sector bank, public sector banks, private sector banks, MNCs. These are all mandated to be there on the platform. So this is what. So what is TReDS? Is basically TReDS is a electronic discounting system of the MSMEs, a digital discounting system of the invoices of the MSMEs the moment the supplies have happened on the platform to the buyer. So as what I said earlier, that there are on this particular platform, there are three participants very clearly. One is the seller, which is the MSMEs, the buyer, which is the large corporate or the corporates above 500 crores turnover, the PSUs or the government departments which are there, the financiers or the banks which are there on the platform. So here, the best part about this entire financial system over here is that each party executes an agreement only with that exchange, and they don't have internal agreement. So they will have definitely between the seller and the buyer, they will have the purchase and sale contract. But when it comes to the financing part, the seller will execute an agreement and gets registered on the TReDS platform. The buyer will execute an execute a agreement with the TReDS platform, and the financiers also. So it's only that these three parties, which are the participants, which have to get enrolled onto the platform. They have to get registered on the platform, and once they have registered, then they can start transacting on the platform. So, and when I talk about the one-to-many and many-to-one link, one-to-many and many-to-one, when we do that, what we also ensure that the buyer gets linked to that respective seller, or the seller gets linked to the respective buyer. So what happens is when we get registered, we need to create a buyer-seller link, and the buyer-seller link between the two decides the terms of engagement and terms of agreement for the supply contract, and especially for the financing part. So this buyer-seller link between the buyer and the seller takes care of what will be the cap rate for that particular financing. So they also can decide to that level. The default cost bearer. So in the sense that when the financing happens, who will bear the cost for that particular transaction, whether it is the seller or whether it is the buyer. And if at all the financing happens, what will be the cost split between the buyer and the seller? That also gets recorded into the system as a one-time, as a one-time registration module. And then who will bear the transaction charges? So basically, on this particular platform, RXIL has to get the transaction charges. So who will bear the transaction charges for this particular transaction? And the default credit period also gets noted over here. So normally the default credit period is 30 days, 40 days, 50 days. Is basically when the buyer can make the payment on the due date. That is what it is. So I'll digitally explain you, or rather I will tell you how it works. So we have Receivables Exchange India Limited, which is a TReDS platform, and then we have the goods and services contract, which is between the buyer and the seller. So these are the three parties which are there on the platform. And once the agreement is there to supply the goods, then the MSME uploads the invoices. Once he supplied the goods to the buyer, he uploads the invoices on the platform. You have to ensure that whenever this MSME vendor gets registered on the platform, he has to create a buyer-seller link, and the buyer-seller link links between the MSME vendor and the buyer. So once the contract is established between the two, and they start supplying the goods, then the invoices they have to be uploaded onto the particular platform. And once the invoices are uploaded on the platform, it's a must that it has to be approved by the buyer. Very clearly, it is not that the moment the MSME is registered and the buyer is registered, they can start getting the finance. The financing happens only after the buyer has accepted the particular invoice. So clearly, the buyer has accepted the particular invoice, and in acceptance, it means that under the agreement, the buyer cannot come tomorrow and say that there is a shortfall of the goods in this particular instance, or there is a set off, or there is a commercial discount, or whatever needs to be taken. Once he is accepted that particular invoice, he has to pay in full that entire amount. And how he pays is, I'll tell you that we take a NACH mandate from the buyer. So there is no way the buyer can say that I will make the payment of the due date. We go and pull the money from his account. And that's what the RBI mandate is, that on the due date, you should be pulling the money from the buyer's account. And let me be very clear that when we do the discounting on the platform, once this particular invoice is accepted by the buyer, the vendor will get the money. But when he gets this money, the financing which happens is completely without recourse to the MSME vendor. So that means tomorrow, once he's received the payment, he can easily pass it off as cash in his account, and he can close that particular receivable for that particular transaction. So once the buyer has accepted the invoices on the platform, then the invoices become available for the discounting. So it gets converted into a factoring unit, and then the financier gets a visibility of who the buyer is, and then they start bidding for it. So in fact, when the corporate on the other side is a large corporate, and in the corporate on whom many banks would be willing to take the risk, at that point of time, there's a race between the financier to to get that coveted asset, and they start bidding for it. In front of my eyes, we have seen that the rates have moved from 8.75% to 6.75%, and sometimes lesser than that, because they want that particular asset on the book. And why is the financier so keen on getting that asset in the book is because this is priority sector lending treatment for them. And very clearly, the government has mandated that whatever financing which happens on the trades exchange, it's a priority sector lending. So clearly, although the risk is on the buyer, so on this platform, the risk is completely on the buyer. So looking at the corporate credit rating of that particular buyer, the financier decides on what kind of financing or what kind of rate will be available for that particular discounting. So they start bidding for it, and once they bid for it, then depending on the better who's paying the rate of interest or who's agreed to pay the rate, who's the cost bearer, then the acceptance will happen. So there will be a bid acceptance. If the MSME vendor is the cost bearer, he has agreed to pay the interest for that particular transaction, then he has to accept it. Or the buyer, if he is agreed to pay for that interest for that particular transaction, then he has to accept it. So clearly after the bid, then there is an acceptance also which happens. And once the acceptance is done, so there are different mechanisms. So in the sense, if the acceptance happens before, for the particular bid happens before 4 o'clock today, the MSME will get, and so after the acceptance is created, after the acceptance is done, there is an obligation which is created between the financier and the buyer. So tomorrow there's an obligation which is there between the financier and the obligation. The buyer is obligated that he will make the payment of the due date. So once this entire process happens before 4 o'clock, so assuming that at 10 o'clock or maybe by 12 o'clock or 1 o'clock or sometimes at 3 o'clock also the MSME vendor uploads an invoice, immediately the buyer accepts it digitally, and after he's accepted it, the financier will also bid for it. And once they have bid for it, even the MSME vendor or the buyer has accepted the transaction, the MSME can get the payment on the next day itself. By 10 o'clock, almost 10 o'clock or 10:30, by NPCI credit system, he will get the payment by a NACH mandate, and through NPCI, they get the payment on that next day by 10 o'clock. And on the due date, the buyer's account is debited and the financier gets credited on the particular due date. So this entire cycle is how it works on that particular day. And let me tell you that, the NPCI has also set up a separate settlement mechanism for trades platforms. So we run a separate settlement cycles, which are different and normal, which are different from the normal payment cycles which happen on NPCI. So this is how it happens. So clearly on the due date, we pull the money from the buyer's account through an NPCI NACH mandate, debit mandate, which is there. So there are two types of processes which happen on the platform. One is the factoring process, where the interest is borne by the seller. So it is just the difference between the factoring and the reverse factoring is who's bearing that interest. So in the factoring process, the seller uploads the invoice, the buyer will accept that invoice, and the financier bid for that invoice. And once he's bid for that invoice, the seller accepts it because he's the he's going to be the rate bearer for that particular invoice. He's going to bear the interest for that particular transaction. The financier will disburse the funds, and the seller receives the payment within 48 hours. So if at all, I just forgot to tell you that if the transaction happens after 4 o'clock, that the seller gets the payment on T+1. So that means today if the transaction is done, in the sense after 4 o'clock, then it is T+2. So today being the transaction date, he will get it on day after tomorrow, after 4 o'clock. If he does it before 4 o'clock and on the entire cycle happens before 4 o'clock, then he'll get the payment tomorrow itself. So this is how it works. So on the due date, once the funds are dispersed to the seller, on the due date, the funds are received by the financier for that particular transaction. Reverse factoring is where the buyer also can, he needs to pay to the suppliers. So buyer agrees for a rate of interest, or buyer says that, I will upload the invoices. So they upload the invoices, the financier bid for it, the buyer accepts the bid, and the supplier gets the payment on the particular date, whichever is mandated. And the buyer makes the payment to the financier on the due date. Again, the payment is pulled on that particular account. And in this case also, the interest is borne by the buyer. Keep that in mind. So even the buyer also finds this very suitable that, they can elongate their payment cycle on this particular platform. So clearly, what are the benefits for the MSME seller? So this is completely without recourse borrowing. for MSMEs. So the MSMEs, so you would have heard about something called as invoice discounting or the supplier financing module. But this is much better than that, because here the seller gets a payment which is without recourse and without any collateral. And that's the best thing which can happen to the MSME sellers. The seller receives the funds within 48 hours, as what I told you. And here he gets an option, that he has access to multiple financiers. Consider that, you're an MSME and tomorrow you want to get a financing for a particular, for the particular invoice or particular working capital cycle or inventory. You have to go to the bank and you have to give a collateral. And sometimes what happens with these MSMEs, normally there is always an informal credit system which works, where the promoter does not get the payments from the legal channels. So either he goes, begs and borrows or whatever from his family, or he will go and borrow it against his own collateral from the company, from the financiers, and get the money. So here you have an option that, you have multiple financiers looking at the particular buyer of yours, and then deciding the rate of interest and giving the financing to you. And especially over here, you get lower cost of funds. You, just to go back and tell you that, MSME sellers, when they actually go and ask for funding, normally their funding rate of interest would be something between 10 to 12%, or maybe higher also. And this is completely collateralized. The funding which the MSMEs procure from the lenders and from the financiers, it's always with collateral and with security, and it's with recourse. So tomorrow they do not get something called as without recourse borrowing. And this is what the beauty of the platform is, that you get an early payment by, if you are the interest bearer, by deducting a discount which is there. So very clearly low cost of funds. So we have seen the rate of interest between 6% to 9% on our platform. And in case if it's a top buyer, you're getting the rate of interest is 5.95. So we have seen a case where the buyer on the other side of the large PSU, a top buyer, and the banks have given the rate of interest of 5.95. So that's what the advantage over here is on the platform over here. What are the benefits of the buyer? The benefit of the buyer is that, look, he very clearly that they don't have to do any follow-ups with the banks to make the payments to the sellers. So once they have integrated with the platform through the SAP or ERP system, then the payments can be made based on the payment files which come across to the exchange. They enhance the procurement terms. So we have seen in certain cases, we have a very classic case of study wherein one particular large PSU went across live with us. And in the span of 6 months, they did transactions worth around 300 crores. And when they did transactions worth 300 crores, we have got a letter from their MSME association, which clearly told us that we have saved 6 crores for the financing which has happened for 300 crores. So 6 crores, you can imagine, it's almost equivalent to 5%. I think it's less than 5%, or more than 5%, less than 5%. But yeah, they have saved 5 crores, 6 crores just for doing the financing of 300 crores. And the tenor of the 300 crores transaction was something between 30 to 45 days. And still they have saved very clearly. They have told us that, the MSME association has told us that the MSMEs have saved 6 crores. And 6 crores is a huge amount for MSMEs. I don't have to say that. You would all know that, you being in the entrepreneurial business. And it also allows them, the buyers, the advantage is that it also allows them to strengthen the supply relationships. Even look, in this times of crisis, when you have a supplier, you have to treat him as a family, because you cannot have that patronizing attitude that I will decide when to make the payment. Because tomorrow, if he's a key supplier and if he decides to switch off the tap, you had it. I mean, your supply chain in any particular organization, when you're dependent on your suppliers, you are as weak as the weakest link in your supply chain. So tomorrow, if the supplier decides not to make supplies to you, you've had it. So that's what it is. So, the platform is being used by the corporates to strengthen the relationships, to ensure that, the MSMEs get the payment. You would have, in the last 2-3 months, when the lockdown has begun, we have seen it, that, the large corporates which were actually cash rich, the corporates which were cash rich, we were the first people to go and announce that they are not going to make the payment to the suppliers. And that is a big catch-22 situation, because here is a supplier who is already supplied and who's living on borrowed money with the inventory which is carrying, and he's carrying that inventory which has already been supplied to you. And you are coming across and saying that I am not going to make the payment till this lockdown scenario opens. Now, these are the corporates which, we were the first persons to go and very clearly say that we are not going to make the payment. So we keep on telling these corporates that, look, this is the opportunity for you to supply, to, take care of your suppliers and to sustain, because at the end of the day, tomorrow, the way you take care of your company, the supplier also has to take care of his company, of his employees. And these are the largest hit, people during this particular set of crisis. And that's the truth, because tomorrow if you come on the platform, you can make the payment to your supplier, you extend your payment terms to maybe 180 days or whatever, so your supplier has got the payment for the supply which is made to you, and tomorrow you also have got a credit period which you can sustain, and you can carry on till the till you sustain, or till you come back to your normalcy level. And this is something which the corporates have picked up now, in the sense the particular the disruption in this particular during the lockdown has actually helped us, that buyers have realized that how it is important for them to sustain their suppliers, sustain their MSME suppliers especially, and ensure that they can ensure a steady flow of the supplies for that particular critical components, or even for the normal components, when they ensure that they can take care of the suppliers. So this is what we were telling our buyers, that look, you can make the payment to the suppliers through this mechanism. Either the supplier agrees to pay the interest, or you can agree for the pay to the interest, because that is a win-win situation for all. And that's what we are telling. And we are seeing a lot of success coming on that particular front. Again, it's a digital platform it's a completely end-to-end digital platform, where the biggest advantage for the MSME is that, and the buyer also, they don't have to keep on following up and see whether the payment has really happened or not. The payment happens, smoothly when you are integrated with the system. And it ensures that there is a digital literacy, or that there is a digital functionality for the MSME suppliers also. But the benefit for the financiers is basically that, they have a priority sector lending treatment. So there's a lot of demand to finance the large corporates on the platform, because you're getting a priority sector lending benefit, which is completely risk against a large corporate. And what better than that? Because tomorrow, if you were to lend against a small MSME, you might be reconsidering, or you might have to think at least 3-4 times. But here you have a scenario where you can do priority sector lending by lending against a large corporate, but getting an advantage of a priority sector lending over here. Again, completely looking at the way the platform has evolved over the last 3 years, we have not seen many defaults. We have just seen 0.07%, 0.7% of the default, which is very less as compared to what is happening. So we have just seen on a platform which is done around transactions worth around more than 3,500 crores worth of transactions. And we have seen that the platform level default is very low. We have seen only 4 defaults till now, that too with less than 60-70 crores altogether. So that is the percentage of defaults on all the 3 platforms put together. Entire platform is digital, and the finance actually get access to good quality customers. So what are the initiatives which have been taken for the government? So very clearly that government, the current central government is very keen that this platform becomes successful, because at the end of the day, it has the interest of the MSMEs at heart. And very clearly they're monitoring it also. MSMEs are monitoring it, MSME ministry is monitoring it, DFS is monitoring it. Very clearly in 2017, when the platform was launched, the government came out with the initiative that all the PSUs and the governments have to register on the platform. Very clear. I have told you that the advanced finance through the TReST platform is categorized as priority sector lending. In 2018 November, the government came out with a notification that any corporate, all the corporates above 500 crores turnover, have to necessarily register on the platform. So that's the mandate which the government has very clearly said, that all the corporates have to register on the platform. Very clearly, the government is monitoring on the success of the platform by seeking periodical information. And in this particular budget, the government also has announced that NBFCs also can come on the platform and start financing on the platform. And there is something called as GEMS platform also, which is the government C-marketplace, which we have integrated with, because there also the government's mandate is very clearly that whatever the government procures will have to necessarily through the GEMS portal. And government's mandate is there that all the procurement of the government departments as well as the the PSUs has to come through the GEMS platform. And we have also integrated with the GEMS platform to ensure that we can also do the financing of the MSME invoices on that particular platform against the large corporate risk. Very clearly in the last 3 months, we have been receiving queries not only from the MSME Ministry or DFS, we have been receiving queries from the Prime Minister's office also on exactly what is the role of PSUs, how many PSUs are onboarded on the platform, and how many transactions are doing. Clearly that, look, there are some vested interest in the government departments of the PSUs. I'm being very openly saying that, because this platform ensures transparency. And when you have a transparency over here, there is no way any government, official or any bureaucrat or any PSU guys can play hanky-panky on the system. Because what happens normally is, if you were to discuss with any of the financiers or any of the finance departments of the PSUs, they will clearly say that no, we are making the payment in 1 day or 2 days or 3 days, whenever it comes. But that's not the reality. The reality is that the finance department is saying when they receive the files which are cleared, they make the payment in 1 or 2 days. But the reality is totally different. The reality is that before the files come to the finance department to make the payment, there is a lot of harassment which goes on. And I have been very clearly said that to the MSME minister and MSME ministry also, very clearly that, there is a lot of harassment which goes for clearing the files of the particular threats of the particular MSMEs. And that's why this platform ensures that, tomorrow when the invoice is loaded onto the platform, the buyer has to accept it. So we have been very clearly saying that, you have to make it mandatory. We are telling the government that you have to make it mandatory, that all the priority, all the PSUs have to start routing the transactions, have to start routing the MSME payments only through the TReST platform. And that's how the platform will become successful, because you will see at the press of the button how many MSME payments are happening, how many MSME payments are getting delayed. And that's what we are working with the government. And we see that there are some steps being taken where they're making it mandatory, likely to make it mandatory. There is already notification which has gone to all the ministry and all the PSUs, very clearly telling them that you have to register on the platform. You have to register even your MSMEs, suppliers on the platform, and you have to make that information available on your site. Very clearly saying that. They've also said that, you have to make online payment. So we are see that's what the problem is. In Indians we are all jugados, where what happens, the government came out with the initiative that you have to register on the platform. So what the corporates and the PSUs have done is they have just registered on the platform. Whether they are doing the transactions, no, they are not doing the transactions. So that is what the thing is. So now, but when the corporates are realizing that, the difference it can make to their ecosystem, the difference can make when, you guys must be knowing that, look, when a corporate also, with their MNC corporates, even when you are running your family businesses, you would be knowing that there is a supply chain financing happens bilaterally between 1 or 2 banks. Normally, when a corporate enters into a supply chain financing, he does it with 1 bank or 2 banks or 3 banks at the most. But here you have a platform where you can have access to 35 banks or 40 banks or 50 banks, which can look at the invoices. So at any point of time, you can have an access. There is always a rate discovery mechanism, because whenever you do a supply chain financing, your rates for the corporates are decided by these 2 or 3 banks, which at times have a cartelized mechanism, because if they know that this particular corporate is not only doing the financing with me, is doing with A bank and B bank also. So these 3 banks decide together that what is the rate we should allow this guy to give it. So at least we can manage that share and maintain that share between us. But tomorrow, the same corporate were to list all his invoices on the exchange, on the TReST platform, where he has access to 35 or 40 banks. You can imagine what will happen. The corporate can discover the rate of interest. So that's what the beauty is, that there is an auction-based mechanism on the TReST platform where the corporate can decide which bid he has to accept it. Yeah, and obviously, naturally, he will accept the lowest bid. So we are saying that, look, you can get an access to 35 to 40 banks which can decide the rate of interest for you. And that is the rate of interest which is decided by an auction-based mechanism or by a price discovery mechanism. We have been telling government that, you have to define timelines for the state enterprises and the corporation to come on the platform, register on the platform in a time-bound manner and start transacting. You have to make it mandatory. We are telling very clearly that, you have to encourage the banks also, because in the last COVID scenario, in the last 2-3 months, we've seen the banks' participation dropping a little bit. Reason because they never had, because we were imposed with a work from home scenario. The banks also were imposed, but they never had access to the core banking system, and that's where their interest, or they would say that trades is a little bit a secondary priority or a secondary preference for us, so they would give the preference. So, and it would take other pressing issues would take precedence over the trades platform, and that's why we have been telling government, and very clearly now the banks have also started financing again on the platform. And at that point of time when this PPT was made, this proposed MSME classification was something which we were talking about, and now that has come into the being. So we see clearly a great benefit for the MSMEs, because we see that with the greater definition, larger number of MSMEs will come into the ambit of MSME base. The earlier investment in plant and machinery was, I think, up to 25 crores. Now that has been increased up to 50 crores. So we see that many more MSMEs will come into the wider acceptance of the MSME classification. Then very clearly we are also linking with the GST network to ensure that we validate the GST and data, and very clearly that we are working with many MSME industry associations to create awareness of the trades platform. So it's such a beautiful platform. It's a fantastic platform where people, I have a firm belief that, look, for me to take up this job, was the primary reason was that I see a great potential in this platform. I see that it can change the way supplier financing or the MSME financing can happen in India. If assuming even out of the 6.5 crores, even if we were to say that, even 10 lakh invoice or 10 lakh corporates or 10 lakh MSMEs were supplying to the large corporates, and if you were to able to take care of these MSMEs, I think you would have taken care of at least 50 to 60% of the problem, especially related to the MSMEs. What we have done is that, looking at the way the transactions are happening, we have gone completely digital. The earlier process used to be a manual thing, and we have gone completely digital as far as the onboarding is concerned. The earlier onboarding process used to take us at least 6 to 7 days for onboarding a single MSME. Now that process takes at least minimum 2 or 3 hours, and within 2 or 3 hours I can register the MSMEs, and that has really helped us in the COVID scenario, because in the times of social distancing and in the times of keeping minimal safe distance between the MSME between the people, it helps us a lot to ensure that we go digital. So we are the only platform which has gone completely digital for online registering process, and actually that has helped us out. So where we used to onboard 150 MSME vendors, we are onboarding something like 300, 400 vendors per month. So it has our efficiency has gone up by four times more. And in fact, we are targeting that at least now that has to go to 1,000 to 2,000 MSME vendors every month. So we can cater to the large number of MSME vendors who are supplying to these large corporates and PSUs. So what we have done is and SIDBI also being a parent company, and they discussed with the government, and they came out with a scheme that you get the MSMEs which get registered on a platform. We register them free of cost till June. It was there. Now that has been extended up to July. So what we are doing is that whichever MSMEs get registered with us, we normally our registration charges are 2,500, which is nominal. We get them registered free of cost now, thanks to the digital. So that's what it is from my side, Mr. Menon, I think, and I can give you the online registration address also. But very clearly that your large corporate has to be registered on the platform, and it's very important that you need to keep that in mind. Or tomorrow, if you get registered, you can tell us to get in touch with your buyer. We can try ways and means to see whether the buyer can come on our platform to get registered. So that's it from my side, Mr. Menon.
Thank you very much, sir. Absolutely inspirational.
You can ask me questions.
Ketan sir,
yeah.
Can you please put the last link, please, sir, where you can Krishna go to the other room. So, so this is very important for all of us. Hello. So this is extremely important for all of us, the onboarding process. Thank you again, Sanil Shah Bete, for getting such an eminent speaker. And sir, you're so grounded when you said I started as a clerk, and today sir is an MD and CEO. That shows the grounding. But life is not only about business. Even in a career, you can influence people very happily. And today, through sir's presentation, right, you could see how this is entirely trying to transform. Anjay ji also was here. I see a small negative element coming into every discussion. So as a professor, and please allow me, even if you're senior, I know that things are tough and India is a
Yeah.
very bad place. So no, let me speak, sir. India is a very bad place to do business. This has been proved by the ease of doing business, but at least do not send a negative signal in a platform where we are trying to inform financial literacy. So last time also Anjay ji did so beautiful job. And humbly he was putting his product because somebody came in and said, नहीं होता है 45 days में नहीं मिलता है. अरे अंजय जी बता रहे मिलता है आपको provisions बता दिया. Now you follow the provision. अभी unfortunately somebody has put it on the panelists कि मैंने register किया मेरे को ये नहीं मिला वो नहीं मिला. तो please I agree difficult है. केतन जी देख लेगा आपका. Others don't know that comment. तो मैं थोड़ा हिल गया. उसके बाद मैं chat करना ही बंद कर दिया because some of you are using chat for sending personal messages, and I was trying to spread financial literacy. Not that I'm upset, it's just that maybe as a teacher I couldn't communicate well that when an eminent person talks about it, there are challenges. There are definitely challenges, and we are all there to help you all in these challenging times. Please note this is a unique initiative in the world. आप समझिए उन्होंने ये क्या बोला, unique initiative in the world without recourse हो रहा है. Without request, मतलब once you give it, you are off. You can concentrate on your business. This tallies with my understanding of factoring. So उन्होंने क्या बोला? Please register. We will help you talk to the other corporate to see if they can register. उन्होंने क्या बोला? MSME minister is now looking at it very seriously. Nitin Gadkari ji. Prime Minister's office is involved because MSMEs are the backbone of the country, not Sumit Kabra. वो बड़ा हो गया अभी. It is all of you all who are ready to take this up. Sir, wonderful comment. I so liked it. Sorry, मैं एक level के बाद मैं type करना छोड़ दिया sir because थोड़ा मुझे odd लगा कि why people. And sir, your presentation was absolutely on the mark. तो मैं एक line में summarize करता हूँ. It is all about factoring. बेटे beautiful platform यार. ये अगर आप use take. And by the way, sir also talked about competition. Why should he talk about 3 exchanges here in India? Because he is also there to spread literacy, not to get business from any one of you all. बोला 3 exchanges बन गया है. I am the MD and CEO of one exchange, which is promoted by SEBI. So now you know the promoters, you decide what is to be done. Sir, kids are very, very impressed with you, sir. You can see the first comment. Sumit bete, right? I would take up charge now for some time. And this kid has really, मेरा दिल बना दिया है बच्चे ने. Bits पिलाने का बच्चा है. And he has thanked you personally, sir, right, for bringing such an awareness, right, to this platform. And sir, coming from a Bits Pilani kid, I'm so happy that he started by saying thank you. Life is all about saying thank you. Sir, please note, very good question, sir. I will take some of them, then Sumita and Simar can do it. Anjay ji, sir, I will take from respected Anjay ji, who is an entrepreneur, 21 years. He's on the MSME committee. He's helping MSMEs everywhere. Incidentally, class, thanks to you all, I could get Anjay ji to Tycon Hubli. मैं उनको रिक्वेस्ट किया और उधर भी उन्होंने आके सबको बताया. Sir, any compulsion for buyer to register on platform? Ketan sir, first question. Any compulsion for buyer to get registered on platform? Respected sir.
Yeah. So, sir, can you hear me?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah. So the government has come out with a gazette notification, and it's very compulsorily, very mandated for the corporates above 500 crores turnover to get registered on the platform. And the current MSME secretary, Mr. A.K. Sharma, has requested that whether that mandate can be coming down to 250 crores also. So there is a thought process which is going on, but whichever company has a thought process, turnover of 250 crores, they can also register. It's not only that, it's not restricted to even to that. Even any corporate who has got a set of buyers and where the financiers can willingly take a risk, they can also come on the platform. So you did not be restricted even by the 500 crores limit as such. So as of now, the government has made it mandatory, and what is happening is the government is following through the ROC and through the company secretaries to ensure and very clearly, let me tell you, since many entrepreneurs are there who might be having companies above 500 crores turnover, very clearly the government is following through video conferences, asking very clearly, has your company registered on the platform? And if it is registered, how much transactions have happened? And if you have not done the transaction, why have you not done the transaction? So that kind of questioning is also happening.
Fantastic, sir. Fantastic. Sir, Rahul Agarwal is our student from Calcutta, very big in exports. He has a unit in Vietnam. He's asking a lovely kid. He's asking a question. Is this available for exports also?
Currently, no. We are looking at just managing this only for domestic transactions. very clearly. But there is something called as drip capital, which is into this particular scenario, wherein they are helping out with MSMEs for exports, factoring over there. So you can work with them, but as of now, we are not looking at exports, because again, for exports part, you will have to it's a factoring actually, and then you have to take care of the import factor on the other side. You have to tie up for the bank lines or the limits of that particular corporate, and that is currently not in our mandate from the RBI.
So with your permission and Simmer's permission, I have an answer to this question for exports. Next week on Menon Mantras, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, 7:30 to 8:30, we are looking at only boosting exports, right? And I have somebody who will come and talk about international factoring. So any question we will try and address either on Simmer's HUTTECH platform or on Menon Mantras. Ketan sir says we don't provide that facility. So Anand Menon humbly says Monday, Wednesday, Friday next week, Menon Mantras is boosting exports. We are going to call a CA, Saili Parekh, and she will talk about international factoring. All of you are welcome for that free webinar also. Sir, wonderful question from Mukesh Chandak. You told there are 3 exchanges. Sir, you mentioned that there are 3 exchanges. Some asks to register only in one. How to handle it? So it looks like there's competition between that. I don't know. This is the kids'
Yeah,
question.
there is a competition. Honestly, there is a competition between the 3 exchanges because they are new, and everyone wants to take that market share. And let me tell you one thing, that although we were the first exchange to go live, we are at number 3. RXIL is at number 3, and after I have taken over, that number 3 position has gone across to number 2 now. This year's in the number, from number 3 we have gone to number 2, and very clearly my mandate is that we have to take 45% of the market share in the next. I would say in the next 5-6 months, we look at ourselves capturing 45% of the market share. So there is no clear such mandate as such. You can enroll with any of the buyer can enroll with any of the platforms. We also have cases where the buyers have enrolled with all the 3 platforms. We also have cases where the suppliers also have enrolled on the 3 platforms. And let me tell you that all the 3 exchanges are connected by blockchain. So the supplier can upload the invoices on 3 platforms. The buyer can do the same. And tomorrow, in case of any one particular exchange, finances that particular transaction, the transaction gets locked on the other 2 platforms. So there is no way a duplicate discounting can happen. As a dedupe mechanism which works, wherein a blockchain mechanism works, wherein the 3 exchanges, so you can ensure that the system cannot be timed in such a way that a duplicate invoice can pass through one particular exchange and second particular exchange. So that is also and it's a very classic, I would say, it's the first time the solution has been implemented. And as being a digital platform, we were the first guys, the 3 exchanges were the first guys to implement it. And now that solution is being implemented into the banks also, to ensure that the duplicate financing of the invoices does not happen, which normally at times happens. So there is no clear compulsion to enroll on any exchange, but yeah, they have to enroll on either of the exchange for compliance.
So to give you a short answer, Mukeshji, no such compulsion. But I would suggest it is better to go with all 3 exchanges, right, and see where your financing cost is least, because this is without recourse. Respected sir, very impressed with that blockchain.
But let me just tell you that on our platform, we are seeing that the minimum rate of interest is seen on our platform. I don't know why, but that's a fact. I don't know. We are lucky in that way.
So, no, I'm not smiling because this was not planned by me and Ketan sir. I'm meeting him for the first time. But I again repeat, wherever the interest cost is low, and please remember it is without recourse. But I'm seriously bol raha hu, today has been a revolution. 2 weeks back, Maja aa gaya Anjay ji ke saath. Last week, Sumit Kabra Rock. Today, Ketan ji is giving very politely aapko solutions de rahe. And I'll tell you why things fail in India, because we try to game the system. तो हम लोग डुप्लीकेट इनवॉइसेस करते हैं, डबल फाइनेंसिंग करते हैं, जेन्युइन बिजनेस पीपल सफर. तो सर हैज इंट्रोड्यूस्ड ब्लॉकचेन टेक्नोलॉजी. दिस इज ब्यूटीफुल. ऑल द 3 exchanges, आई एम सो इम्प्रेस्ड यार. हम लोग खाली ब्लॉकचेन, मतलब वी टॉक अबाउट क्रिप्टो करेंसी. They have gone one step ahead. Last time Aditya ji mentioned that their government is trying to push blockchain in agriculture. Very impressive. So please remember, right? And sir, Ketan sir, I publicly promise you, I don't know whether you could be number 1 or number 2, but I will ensure that your voice reaches every MSME, because you are helping MSMEs. That's my promise. So there is one more question for you, sir. Assuming all costs, Vaibhav always asks very good questions and very nicely puts it in a question answer format, which is something I would appreciate. Whenever you do that, humble request, again and again, I'm saying this. Assuming all costs associated with financing is taken by a seller, is there an automatic mechanism of buyer acceptance of invoice? As without acceptance, bidding cannot start. So is there automatic mechanism of buyer acceptance, sir?
See, for all the invoices, it has to be accepted by the buyer. So yeah, buyer also can put an automatic acceptance that if I receive that invoice from this particular seller, they can also put an automatic acceptance. But normally, ideally, the buyers don't do that. They want to have that control at their end. The buyer acceptance comes, I'll tell you where the buyer acceptance comes. When the buyer uploads the invoices and he decides the rate of interest. He says that, okay, up to 8%, if the bid come below 8%, I'm ready to accept it. So I don't have to go and accept it again. So then he puts a rate, he puts an indicative rate that up to 8%, any bids coming below that, auto acceptance. So that is also there. But whether the supplier uploading the invoices, can the buyer do it? It all depends on the relationship between the supplier and the buyer. But normally the buyers don't do that.
And very important message again on this platform to everybody. Suppliers are also important. Where please don't squeeze them to such an extent that if they are not there, you don't survive. That's a very important message that came from the ministry itself. Sir, a direct question. If you want, you can avoid it. In your experience, what has been the average? This is from dear Pranay. What has been the average rate of interest for mid corporates? Asking this as a question from my customer. Oh, wow, you're doing it for your customer when I was trying to get him on the platform. Beautiful, Bete. Very good.
So it all depends on the rating of the corporate. So if the rating is triple B plus and above, triple B and above, normally the finances take a little bit time to set limits on that particular finance on that particular buyer. But normally the rate of interest would be in the region of between 8.5% to 9% or 9.5%. I don't think anything beyond that.
That's reasonably cheap, 8.5% to 9%. Even if you go to a bank and discount at repo rates, I think somewhere around that rate only you'll get, Bache. So dear Dave is thanking Simar, Sumit, and of course you, sir, for sharing such valuable information.
Let me tell you one more thing is, this the platform, the advantage over here is that, these are unadvised, unallocated lines for that particular component. So let's say if you have a 10 crore or 20 crore or 50 crore lines, I'm talking about the buyer side. So where the buyer has got an established lines of 100 crores with different banks. But on this platform, he's got lines which are over and above those 100 crores which are already there for which he's signed up a facility agreement with those particular banks. In this particular case, let's say if he gets a line, if we manage to get 25 crores lines for his supplier financing, these are over and above those 100 crores.
Sir, very important. I think Jharkhand is very active, and Simar Bete, this is something that I should thank you. Our platform of Hartech. Jharkhand for me was always MS Dhoni. Now when I say Jharkhand, it is Anjay ji and so many people. Sir, it's a request to you, sir, to make registration process simple. Can you please hold a seminar at Ranchi, Jharkhand, so that all our members, we are about 400 of them, get spontaneous registration. This has come from Biani sir, I don't know him, so I'll say Mr. Biani ji from Jharkhand Small Industries Association. And so there's a small, so that's a request to you, sir. Right?
Yeah, so we're very keen. So my email ID is here.
Sir, that is where, Ketan sir, with your permission, there's one feedback to you, humble feedback to you. Don't misunderstand, sir. Humble feedback to you. Email ID on RXIL website, the mails are humble feedback. Mails are bouncing back. Mails are bouncing back. So you could just have a look. With your permission, I can share.
Is it at info@rxil.in or?
Anjay ji, if you could mention which email is bouncing back, sir can look into it, because we are all human beings, right? I don't know. Some mail to me may also be bouncing back. So Anjay ji is the honorary secretary and of Jharkhand Small and Medium Enterprise Association, and he's also there on Samadhan. Sir, he's a jury member on Samadhan. Right, I would love if both of you could get connected and influence MSMEs.
In fact, Mr. Menon, you can give my email ID also to Mr.
I will do that.
You have my email ID.
Yes.
So you can give it to him. I'll be most keen to take it up for me or my team members, handling the North region to address that particular seminar. And we would be keen that, this MSME, the best advantage now is we have the registration free for MSMEs. So, that we can take the advantage of that. But one only thing condition over there is that your buyer should be registered with us. Or even if the buyer is not registered, then, you can give us the names and we can talk with them to get them registered.
Sir is saying this so nicely for the second time. I love you,
so,
sir.
hota kya malum hai? I'll tell you what happens. Then, the MSMEs get registered. Then the buyer, they give us the name of the buyer. And the buyers don't get registered. Then the MSME says, look, I've been following up with you. You're telling me that I got registered with you. But, boss, it's a buyer to get registered. If the buyer does not get registered, what can I do?
Okay, so that's a very honest feedback. So I will definitely convey your details to Anjay ji, who is a very respected person, and of course, Mr. Biani ji. Sir, very important question from Nikhil. Sir, if the buyer payment terms are 90 days, wow, this boy is a businessman. Will the interest be calculated for 90-day period or 45-day period as specified as maximum period for MSME payments?
But no, it's a very interesting question.
Very nice.
And a very interesting question. See, very clearly, we have taken a legal opinion, and the legal opinion is very clear. That although the MSME Act says that we have to pay within 45 days, on this platform, what happens is that the MSME gets the payment within the second or the third day. So it's a part of the negotiation between the buyer and the seller to agree for the discounting of 90 days. So tomorrow, if the MSME seller says, look, I'm agreeable to pay this interest for the 90 days, I'm okay for that. But I need the payment, on the 10th day or the 15th day or whatever it is. And I release the payment. So there is no harm in that, because MSME Act says that the MSME seller has to receive the payment. The agreement for getting it discounted is it's a commercial agreement between the seller and the buyer. And it can be looked at it as a discount mechanism which has been given by the seller to the buyer. So very clearly, it all depends on the terms which are set up between the buyer and the seller. And the seller says that, look, you go up to 90 days. I am ready to pay the interest. And you please come on the platform and do it. That is also possible. If the seller says, I can bear only the interest for the first 45 days, because as per the MSME Act, I have to receive the payment within 45 days. And from 45th day to the 90th day, if the buyer says, I will pay the interest, that also is possible. So, both kind of combinations can be possible. Or if the third scenario is where the buyer says, I'll pay the interest for the entire period, that is also possible.
Lovely, sir. Lovely. Sir, again, Bete Simar and Sumit, Bete, you all also can look at questions. Please come in. I would love it. Go ahead. Please go ahead.
A very interesting question coming in from Mrs. Sai. He's mentioning that companies, I don't want to name them, having a turnover of 10,000 crores plus are not registered. We have major issues with working capital since we are a B2B stuff, supplying MRs. What should we do?
We missed you, Simar, in the last sentence.
Sir, they're mentioning that 10,000 crores plus companies which are not registered. So the companies having major cash flow issues, working capital issues, and since they're a B2B tech startup, what should they do? So they're just seeking your opinion on this particular scenario.
See very clearly that the MSME, if you look at the corporates which you're talking about, they would have been registered. If the corporate is about 10,000 crores for compliance sake. So I keep on telling that हमारे यहाँ के जुगाड़ू होते हैं कि what they do is government has told me to register. Government has not told me to transact. So I will register. So that is what is happening. So they are registering. So whether you can force them to register or whether you can force them to get started, that's not something which it's yet to come in, where the government will make it mandatory. But the government is using all its might to at least tell the corporates to the PSUs that they have to register and they have to start transacting. And that is not yielding the results. But yeah, at the corporate side, it is the corporate governance and, the corporate, because normally that's what when I mentioned it, there were certain corporates who are cash rich, before the start of the lockdown. And these corporates very clearly during the lockdown period, very clearly came out and announced that we are not going to pay our suppliers till the lockdown is, we see a clarity of the lockdown. I don't want to name those corporates, but these are the corporates, so that's what it is, that they try to take advantage of the situation very clearly. So clearly there is no solution over here till the government steps in and forces them to do the transaction. But yeah, some corporates are becoming realistic and understanding that, MSMEs need to be made the payment, and that's the thing it is. But otherwise, there is always a patronizing attitude that look, you give me 10% discount, 15% discount. I've heard about many corporates asking for 4% discount for 90 days payment settlement. But again, that's a commercial discretion between the buyer and the seller. That's not something which I can comment on. But whether the buyer can be forced, buyer is told to register. Buyer is being asked questions now by the ROC through video conferencing. Also, we have seen many places where notices have gone to the corporates asking them, have you registered? If you have not registered, why not? If you have registered, how many transactions have happened? So that kind of questioning is also happening. Accountability is coming.
Okay, so I have one more question, then I'll pass on to Sumit Bhai. Mukesh Chandak says that the question of mine is not related to seminar. I need to ask why traders are not allowed to register an MSME, as it is also service sector, if I'm not wrong. So I think it's thoda bahut related, but I wanted you to answer on this, sir.
पर बेटे आप सर को भी पूछोगे हाउ इज द वेदर इन मुंबई, क्या कर रहे हैं रे बच्चे? अरे ठीक है सर, बोल दीजिए.
No. So that's a question which is intriguing us also, because we are not allowing the traders to, because as per the MSMED Act, very clearly they are not allowed to register as an and now the latest guidelines which comes very clearly say Udyam. So the MSMEs will be called as Udyam as from 1st of July. And there is a whole lot of gazette notification has come which will allow them to register again with the MSME ministry and all that. Very clearly, if the government is not allowing them to register as because clearly, come on, traders, I would not classify them as MSMEs, honestly, because they're just buying and selling, isn't it? They're not manufacturing anything, they're not servicing anything. So it's a very controversial question.
That, sir, you're getting on a minefield. Now the bomb will go all over the place. Okay, so the answer, right?
I said, look, I'm not qualified to answer, so I think I would leave it aside.
Okay, so the answer to this question is Ketan sir cannot answer, Simar cannot answer, Anil Menon cannot answer. But what you can do, respected sir, is Sumit, next questions dekhte na bete, right? What you can do, respected sir, is show some value addition. So if you just buy and sell, you cannot go under Udyog Aadhar. So two solutions. One, show some value addition, which we have been saying at all particular seminars right from day one. 60th, आज बच्चे ने 9th session बोला. I say the last 2 months हम बार-बार आपको यही बोल रहे हैं कि please to show some value addition. Second, anybody in this audience can get somebody who is in charge of this MSME regulations to please come. We can pose these questions to them. So I don't know now. अभी sir आप भी आए तो I never realized I'd meet somebody like you. Right, so anybody in this audience can connect us to somebody who formulates these guidelines. Right, we will do it and then we'll ask this question. यहाँ मत पूछिएगा sir, because I also personally feel that traders are very, very important, but government feels otherwise. अभी salaried people चालू होगा. We are the most taxed. Business people don't get taxed. तो context कुछ और हो जाएगा. सुमित, specific questions पूछ रहा बेटे, sir senior है एकदम.
Yes, sir. Sir Karthik Doshi asking a question. Are there any cases where buyer refuse to accept the invoice on this platform and insist to pay directly only? Is there any way to compel them to come on this platform?
Very good.
Oh, see, it is all on the discussion with the buyers to do it. I'll tell you classic examples also. We have PSUs also. PSUs are registered on the platform to tell the government they are registered. Okay. When the supplier insists that I want to make the payment through this platform, the officials of the PSUs go to the MSME, tell them, तुम क्यों compulsory, तुमको क्यों payment चाहिए through TREDS platform? ये TREDS platform छोड़ दो, तुमको payment चाहिए ना, ये invoice के लिए हम आपको दे देते हैं. इस payment के लिए चाहिए, we'll expedite this payment. So what they are doing is, basically they are trying to nip this particular transparency in the bud itself. And I have made it very clear to the MSME secretary also. Why? I'll tell you why. Because tomorrow, this MSME supplier who wants to do the transaction through the TREDS platform does one transaction, he finds the rate is very good. Then he does 10 transactions, he finds that the rate is very good and he becomes sticky. Then he will go and tell his 10 other suppliers who are supplying to the same corporate that you should do this transaction through this platform. So these officials, government officials, they actually intercept that supplier and tell them, please do not do the payment on the TREDS platform. आपको ये invoice चाहिए, हम आपको दे देते हैं. And unfortunately, the MSME supplier who has to supply to these guys, they end up accepting it. But there is some government initiative with working on, because I have heard that in the last 1 week or so that the CMDs of the PSUs are being called upon and being asked very clearly that they have to start focusing on, I'm talking only from the PSU front, that they have been asked to focus only on the MSME and the TREDS platform and the GEMS platform. And as far as the buyer is also concerned, the buyers can, it's a buyer's option to not accept the invoices. So that's what I'm saying. So it is not a compulsorily that the platform that, once it is loaded or the invoices are loaded on the platform, they will get accepted by the buyer. It's a buyer's choice.
Okay, so Sumit Bete, one more question. Sanil has already WhatsApped me that right, I should stop, and since he has introduced the guest, yes, and I also want to stop because I need to move at 11:45. Sanil, I respect you. One more question, Bache.
Sir, the last is Rakshit Vaishis. Sir, the financial bidding is done after the supply of goods or services?
Both. Yeah. So once after the supply of the goods or the supply of the goods or the services, the invoices will get placed. So after you supply the goods, then you place that invoice, right? You make that invoice, and that invoice will come on the platform. Then after the invoices come in, the buyer has to accept it, and after the buyer has accepted it, then the acceptance happens, and the bid happens.
Okay.
Okay. I would like to summarize today's discussion because as a professional, we have taken time. Right. Thank you very much, sir. I wish you all the best to be number 1, number 2, number 3. But what is important for me is you are helping MSMEs, sir. And life is, according to me, about helping MSMEs. Ho jayenge aap number 1. So the process has started, a unique platform, right, for factoring. I'll just summarize in brief, right. So this is a platform where you can immediately get factoring. Factoring means then the seller is not concerned. It is between the bank or the factoring agent and the buyer. So that's a very good thing. You can concentrate on your business. Number 3, there is free registration as of now, right? You're welcome to register free. Some associations have already contacted. Anjay ji, please look at your personal WhatsApp. You will see how fast I respond. Though I'm slightly senior to you also, sir. Right, so you have got Ketan sir's email ID. The CEO and MD has addressed all of you all. Please note there is something which is called as reverse factoring also. I found that extremely useful, right, where the buyer himself says, don't worry, right, I will factor it, I'll pay you extra interest. Please note, MSMEs have to be paid within 45 days. Government is also very serious about the role of MSMEs, right, and the importance of MSMEs. At HerTech platform, we have been saying this repeatedly, that it is financial literacy which needs to be spread across. We have been taking different topics. Today's topic I thought was very useful. Simar, I'm already getting WhatsApps. You would be bombarded with WhatsApp. You are the WhatsApp man. So I have got already 7-8 WhatsApps saying thank you for this lovely session. Right, we stop here with a request that this is just a beginning. You need to explore this further. It's a wonderful initiative with blockchain technology. My humble request to all genuine business people, right, let's use this platform. My request to all business people, do not spoil this initiative because it's a very good initiative. I've seen OTC exchange collapse. I've seen factoring not happening, leasing not happening because, right, I always say this, why do credit cards charge a bomb, right? Because somebody there has defaulted. So credit card companies have to cover up that defaulting person's cost also. So my humble request as a teacher, please accept it, that as a professor, that please use this valuable platform. MSMEs have to be supported. Any further information, right, I will connect you to the executive assistant of dear Ketan. I again thank Ketan sir for his time with Namaskar sir. Thank you very much, right? A very senior person like you. And please note class, the humility of the person. He starts by saying, I was a clerk in Bank of Baroda. So he was not throwing airs at anybody. I said today is an MD and CEO transforming MSMEs. Thanks Sumit Bete, right? As always, you want to help MSMEs. And last but not the least, my champion, right? He's wondering, today I didn't let him speak, but Simar, now that is going to be the way always now. Now you are going to be at the background. I love him. I'll tell you why. Simar has got very busy. He has got 3 divisions. He has never said that. He is a solar king. He has got 3 divisions and it's a big responsibility that all of you all have. That's why as a teacher, I have stepped up this responsibility. I have little time. Right. Thank you, Simar, for this wonderful opportunity again and again. Thank you, sir. Any further information, please, you can write to us or write to sir directly. Right. I will connect you to sir's executive assistant. Final words to Simar. As always, I want him to have the final word. God bless you, बच्चे.
Ketan sir and Anil sir, मैं ना आपका expression देखने वाला हूँ. मैं कुछ announce करने वाला हूँ अभी. I know what that is. Ketan sir, firstly, a big thank you, sir. We spoke yesterday evening for about 5-10 minutes, and there was a mutual kind of a love and regard that we were discussing. And sir, the cause that you are working, sir, एक जो सबसे ज़्यादा message आया है for last 2 months जो आया है, it is game changer. Everybody is writing, this is a game changer session. We will ensure, sir, the mission that you are in, the mission is spreading awareness, the mission is helping MSMEs in this entire endeavor. We will try our level best to do that. So thank you so much, sir. Very big news coming in, sir. Dr. Menon का मैं reaction देखना चाहता हूँ. So next week.
I'll tell you what is the reaction.
Next Sunday.
One sec, wait. I'll tell you the news. Simar thinks he's smart. Parimal Merchant sir has confirmed that he's coming on the Hartech platform. ये बच्चे को मालूम नहीं कि मेरा और सर का पहले ही बात हो गया. Ketan sir, Parimal sir is the guru of family managed business. He is my boss and he is coming on this platform. Simar, तेरा बाप है. Okay.
अरे एक और से good news है. Dr. Parimal Merchant is speaking on 5th July. Boman Muradian has also confirmed on 12th of July. He's going to speak on a very different concept this time. And Ketan sir, thank you for, actually coming on board and setting up the entire thing. We want you, sir, आप next sessions में भी आपको थोड़ा भी time लगे, please आप join in कीजिए. And this is whole initiative is entire teams are there. Dr. Menon, Sumit, Bani, everyone. And last but not the least, all the participants जो Sunday को 10 बजे log in करते हैं. A big thank you to everyone. Next Sunday, Dr. Parimal Merchant, we will update you as soon as possible. Thank you so much, everyone. Thank you, Ketan sir. Thank you, Dr. Menon. Thank you, Sumit Bhai, for doing this. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.